Greetings, everyone. Greetings, and good evening. It's Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday's Wellness Wisdom with Dr. Michelle Clay. Of course, I am your host, Dr. Michelle. I am a two-time best-selling author, an empowering speaker, physician, and certified holistic health counselor and clinical nutritionist. So welcome to the broadcast. If you are joining us via replay, put hashtag replay and where you're joining from. So, just a couple of things. There's a lot of talk right now in the news with Matthew Knowles coming out and saying that he has been diagnosed with breast cancer. So, it's very rare for men to come out like that. The other one I think I remember was Richard Roundtree. Remember Shaft? Yes, I think he came out a few years ago. But of course, the incidence is more in women. And it's October, so it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I just wanted to check in and talk about it since, you know, it's that month and everything that's going on with Matthew Knowles. So breast cancer is something that hits very, very, very close to home for me because my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2000, oh my God, I think 2002. And it's a very difficult thing. So I want to go over very quickly 3 C's for the big C, cancer. Number 1 is to remain calm as possible. As soon as you hear the word cancer, it's like your whole world implodes and there's so much stress, there's so much fear, there's so much anxiety. And I know that's something that happened with my mother. Now, one of the reasons why it's really, really important to remain calm and really manage your stress levels is because with chronic stress, it affects your immune system in an adverse way. Your immune system is what keeps you healthy, not just preventing colds, flu, and that type of thing, but also to annihilate cancer cells that form in your body, which are just an adaptation. It's an adaptation. It's like a normal cell is growing and then something quirky happens and then it's no longer a normal cell. That's what happens. But the immune system, when it's healthy, when it's strong, is able to overtake those cells so that it can help in the process of treating cancer, of healing from cancer. So approximately 50% of breast cancers can be attributed to behavior issues, like if you smoke or something like that, genetic issues. So I have a very strong genetic risk factor because my mom had breast cancer, and also physiological risk factors. But new risk factors are being identified, such as, like I was talking about, stress, psychological stress, if you smoke, and nutrition. All of these packaged foods that we're eating have an adverse effect. And not just packaged foods, but other foods that have like what they call a positive estrogenic effect that adversely affects us as well. So the thing about breast cancer for me is, number 1, even though on the outside my mom remained calm, but she was one of those people, she really didn't express her feelings or really show emotions until they were way through the roof. She didn't, let it out little by little like a dropper. And I know that she suffered silently. I know that she felt that she was in anguish because the next C after calm is console. I knew she told me and she told one other family member, and that was it. She forbade us from telling anyone. She forbade us from sharing, even her own mother, even her own sister. She would only told me and her brother. my uncle. That is it. So she didn't have the opportunity to be consoled. And when you're consoled, you feel more comfortable. You know that you aren't alone. You're not suffering silently. You don't feel isolated. And then when you allow yourself to be consoled, then we can go on to clarity. Because when you share information of what's going on with you, you share your feelings, what happens is that you find out you aren't alone. There are people who are either experiencing or have experienced what you are getting ready to go through, and they therefore can share information. They can share resources. Maybe they had a particular breast surgeon or a breast specialist that they really had great results, and they're like, hey, why don't you make an appointment with my doctor? That doctor was fantastic. I felt heard. I felt nurtured. I felt that I was given adequate information and all the options so I can make an informed decision. And I felt that my doctor really supported me. Maybe that's something that could happen. So calm, console, and clarity. Now, let me share just something very personal. I'm going to be very transparent. So they talk about early detection is important, and it is. Because of my strong history, then I get my mammograms. So I got my mammogram this summer, and it came out normal. However, my gynecologist said, you know, because of your family history, then you have a higher percentage of risk. So I want to send you to a specialist. So I did. I went to a breast specialist, and then I even went to a geneticist. And the genetic counselor, once, you know, she went through all of my family history of who had cancer, which relative, this, that, and the third, then my percentage went up even higher. And at that particular moment, then I had to make a decision. Do I want to go and get tested to see if I have the gene? I mean, my mom is deceased. I'm pretty sure she had her genetic profile done for the BRCA gene, but I don't know. I mean, I could find out. Or do I want to do it myself? I talked it over with my daddy, and my daddy said, at the end of the day, you don't have cancer now. If you find out you're positive for the gene, I think it's going to cause you too much turmoil. I think it's going to cause you too much stress and anxiety, which then could contribute to that. Do you really want to do that? I was like, Daddy, no, I don't want to do that. So there are nutritional things that you can do, and for our next live broadcast, we're going to go more into that. I did consult with other people, so that's why it's important. The 3 C's for the big C. Number 1, remain calm. Number 2, allow yourself to be consoled. And number 3, clarity, be clear. The only way you can be clear is if you use all of your available resources to gather the data. Then you can make informed decisions. Don't isolate yourself, because you're not alone. And there's so much that you can do. So my prayers and positive energy go to Matthew Knowles and his family. I know what it's like when your family member is diagnosed with cancer and they isolate themselves. And my mom isolating herself and not telling anyone, then actually she did nothing. She didn't get information to get clear. She did nothing. So of course, it got worse. And it got so bad the tumor just grew and grew until it was eroding through her skin. So calm, allow yourself to be consoled, and get clear with all the information. So that's my broadcast this evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you so much. So until next time, you know who I am, Dr. Michelle. I am your holistic physician who specializes in the release of stress simply and naturally.